Hi, I'm Sophia Aragon, registered nurse and executive director for the Washington Center for Nursing. I'm here today with public health figure and leading nurse advocate, Nurse Stephan J. Torres. Hi, Stephan. Thanks for being with us again today.
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
So we talked earlier about moving on, letting go of stuff that happens at work. But this is particularly hard for people who might experience personal trauma, in which case people might get stuck and they feel like it's impossible to let go. Have you been in that situation, and what do you do?
Absolutely, yeah. Trauma can come in many forms. Some shockingly sudden, some drawn out in anguish. You will struggle, it will hurt, and it might feel like you can't get by it, right? But you have to believe that you can. You're entitled to spend as much time as you need to on these things, but ultimately, when you're ready to, you can. You just may need some help.
Mm-hmm. And you're a big advocate for therapy.
100%. I won't go without a therapist.
But there are some people who are worried about the stigma associated with that.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Who cares, okay? I mean, no one has to know. It's confidential, right? You wouldn't know if I didn't tell you, and I didn't post it all over my Instagram stories, right? You could look at it like, put yourself in a new grad's shoes, right? You've got to do trach care on a patient. You've never done trach care. And you're looking down at the neck like, what if I drop something in there, right? It's scary, it's uncomfortable. Talk to your charge nurse. She's gonna say, thank you so much for asking me. Of course I'll help. Patient will give you the thumbs up, right? If you've ever been a float nurse, if you've ever been a travel nurse, if you've ever been a resource nurse, you get real good at asking for help. Where's the bedpan? How do these beds work? Where's the bathroom? Give me some help here. Asking for help is nothing to be ashamed of. It shows that you do have intelligence and you are perceptive. Recognizing that you have an issue, that you can get through it on your own. You can't just leave it at the door, and it needs to be processed. At this point, you got to get outside of yourself and talk to someone else. And, not your family, not your colleagues. They're probably the ones you need therapy for.
So what advice do you have for someone who's never had a therapist? How would they go about finding one that works for them?
First off, anytime we talk about something like this, if anyone's in a mental crisis, thinking of harming themselves or anyone else, you need to seek help. Tell someone, call a crisis hotline, get to an emergency department. You need to seek immediate help. So that being said, if you're a nurse that's working and you want to get some sort of counseling or therapy, okay? What I would do, mosey on into your HR office. If they got relocated to the Philippines, go ahead and give a call. Try that way, right? But if they are local, you can even call in. Not give your name and say, hey, do you have any counseling options for me? They might have something called an employee assistance program. I didn't know what it was until about 4 or 5 months ago. Essentially, a couple counseling sessions for free. And I was in orientation, and the gal had said, we offer an employee assistance program. You get 5 free counseling sessions at no cost to you. I raised my hand and said, I'm gonna need that number right away, right? And she went and got it, brought it back to me, gave it to me in front of all the orientees, right? No shame in my game, and I needed it. I think the people that think they don't need professional help going through this crazy, challenging world are the ones that need professional help the most, because they're obviously missing something. But if your employer doesn't offer the employee assistance program and you have medical benefits, there's usually almost always mental health coverage. There's amazing resources, online, psychologytoday.com, wide list of providers, okay? You can filter them out to your specific needs, anxiety, stuff like that. It's almost like a dating app, right? You pick the mile radius, male or female, 5'8", whatever it is. It's fantastic.
That's something I hear a lot about what people say is they tried it once and it's not for them. What would you say to them?
I would say, that therapist isn't for you. Or maybe they are for you and you just got a little uncomfortable. Just like in any profession, you've got great providers and then you've got duds. Some people think the duds are great providers, some people think the great providers are duds. If you were to go into the emergency department, you wouldn't say that physician was a jerk. Emergency visits aren't for me. No, it's ludicrous. Why would you do that, right? It's needed, just like mental health help is. And so you treat it the same way. Because, counselors, therapists, they're so important. They give you tools in order to cope with grief, deal with trauma, PTSD, anger, stuff like that. And that's imperative, especially at a time like this that we're living in right now.
Well, and thank you for sharing all of that. And so we'll be back with you tomorrow, and we'll be spending more of Nurses Week together.
Excellent. Look forward to it.
Great.